Well, joining me now is Harjeet Johal, who's a business commentator and former retailer, also joined tonight by retail forecaster Felix Scarlett. Gentlemen, welcome to News Talk Live. So we've been looking at the state of our high streets all week, Harjeet. Do we still need them? Are they a dying breed in this country? What do you think?
I think they are, and I think that there isn't really much we can do about it, mainly because it's being driven by the habits of the consumer. It's a natural part of the evolution of retail, and though we have a huge kind of sentimental attachment to them, especially here in England and the United Kingdom, we have to accept that people are shopping in a different way, and despite there being some hanging on to retail, it will high street retail, it will eventually fall and it will eventually die.
Oh dear, Felix, that's a bit depressing, isn't it? There's nothing we can do to save our beloved high streets. Do you agree?
I agree to a certain extent. There is a finite amount of demand, and a large proportion of that demand has gone over to e-commerce, and inevitably certain physical retail spaces are going to fail as a result. Because
so is it the end?
It's not the end. It's not the end. It just means that the physical retail spaces, whether they're in the high streets or elsewhere, are going to thin out, and the good retailers who really provide an enhanced, better, meaningful service for consumers, they will survive. And that's possible within communities.
OK, Harjeet, so sorry to interrupt there, Felix. So look into your crystal ball for me. What do you see the high street looking like in 25 years' time if I'm going to take a walk down it this lunchtime?
Well, I think if you just have to look at the type of consumers that will be around in 25 years' time, they already or increasingly spending their money online.
So what will it look like? Paint a picture for me.
I imagine the large retailers shan't be there. You'll have the high streets, which will be increasingly converted to residential residential areas, and you'll have small services such as dentists and doctors, and maybe the odd kind of artisan shop. But the major retailers simply won't be there certainly on the smaller high streets. The larger high streets will take time to die, but they too shall go.
Now, we spoke to Mary Portas, Mary Queen of Shops, earlier on this week, and she says, you know, a high street's so important because it's part of a community. It's the lifeblood of a community. So will it still be there in slightly different form? Do you think, Felix?
Yes, it will. It will. It won't be exclusively shops. It'll be about services. Medical services certainly, but also social services, in the sense that people enjoy meeting people. And whilst they can do that on the internet, they also like the third space, if you like. That's why there are so many coffee shops in high streets these days, because that's an opportunity for people to meet with friends and socialise. And I think the high street of the future is going to be an interesting mix of a variety of different services. It's still going to have a retail component.
OK, would you still shop there, do you think, Harjeet?
No, I don't think I will. And I'm shopping a few and fewer times on the high street at the moment. And I think that the figures simply don't support Felix's argument. Online sales increased by 20% year on year. We now have the mobile app sales, which are increasing by 148%, granted from a low base. Convenience is the watchword for retailing, increasingly will be.
OK, gentlemen, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your thoughts tonight.